And this is the super compact, ultra quiet air compressor by California Air Tools, a US-based company. And this compressor is advertised as being one of the quietest in the market. And believe me, it is extremely quiet, which you'll appreciate if you like to run any kind of power tools that runs on air at night and not having to wake up the neighbors. And on this video, I'm gonna walk you through its features as well as test this unit out for you to see if this is the right compressor for you. As always, I'd like to remind you that I placed a link in the description down below to this unit in case you'd like to get one for yourself. And I used to have several large air compressors to run my air tools, but I moved over to electric battery power tools because of the convenience of not having a cord, basically an air line that limits the use of this tool. However, I ran in a particular job that needed air, and that particular job was flushing out a radiator. So this particular tool that helps to flush out the radiator runs on air. And I didn't want to go out and buy a full-size air compressor for this one particular job. And I like the fact that I ended up with a lot of free space once those air compressors left my garage. And that's where this unit comes in. So small that I can put it away when I'm not using it, and so quiet that I can use it pretty much at any time during the day or during night. But let's also take a closer look at this unit. On the left side, we have a pressure gauge. This air compressor has an ability to reach a maximum of 120 psi. And then on the right hand side, we have the gauge for the regulator. Now the regulator is built in over here, and we are able to adjust the amount of psi we want by turning this little guy either left to right. There is also a collar behind the regulator that can be turned to lock that regulator in place in case we wanted to leave it at a particular psi. And right next to the regulator, we have that female coupler, so we can connect an air line and disconnect that fairly quickly. Now, as far as emptying the air tank, there is a valve located in the bottom, and it only requires a quarter of a turn to open it or a quarter of a turn to close it and be up and running. And behind all these pressure gauges, there's also a safety release air pressure valve in case the air compressor were ever to exceed the maximum capacity in terms of PSI of the tank. And also there's an overcurrent protection, which is also resettable by pushing this little button. And moving towards the back of the unit, you'll notice that there is no oil fill plug because this motor is sealed, so it's an oil-free assembly that does not require for us to add any oil. It is good to go from the factory. We also have the air filter, which also seems to act as somewhat as a muffler to help keep this thing down, in addition to that low RPM motor. And the air filter, as you can see, is removable and it is serviceable. I'll show you what the filter looks like inside. But now let's do some testing. This is advertised as having a 50-second fill time. Let's see how long it actually takes for it to fill up. Let's also test recovery time, which is advertised to be somewhere around 15 seconds. And finally, let's test it for loudness with an actual decibel meter. I am right next to the air compressor, only about a foot away. And for size, this unit measures roughly about 11.5 inches wide and about 16 inches tall, and also about 16 inches deep. And for weight, this unit comes in around 34 pounds. And the motor is rated at 3,000 hours of operation, and the unit comes with a 1-year warranty. But it is important to point out that this air compressor, as you can see, because of its size and compactness, comes with a 1-gallon tank capacity. So that means that this particular compressor is going to be better suited for tools that do not require a lot of CFM. It is rated as being able to output 1.2 CFM at 90 psi, or 1.6 CFM at 40 psi. So I find this particular compressor ideal to run things like impact guns and pneumatic wrenches. You could potentially try to use it with other tools that use a lot more air, such as this grinder or a wheel cutter, but you'll find that you're gonna run out of air very quickly and the air compressor is gonna be kicking on and on to try to keep up with the demand. And trust me, this type of tools, any kind of wheel turning tools of this device, this style, require a ton of air. Even my larger air compressor that I used to have, which is over 30 gallons, and I believe it was rated as close to 2 horsepower, was not able to keep up with these tools. That's just how much air these tools consume. But I think for smaller tools, for the at-home mechanic, for somebody who wants to do some roof nailing, this is gonna be ideal. So hopefully you found this video helpful in helping you decide if this is the right air compressor for you or not. Remember, I put a link to this unit in the description down below, along with a couple links to a couple of larger versions of this. And if you have any other questions regarding this, please put that in the comments down below. And if you found any part of this video helpful, hit the like button to support the channel and stay tuned as I have a lot more cool car product reviews coming up for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.